Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to put together another Rolife kit. This is the afternoon baking time. I have attempted to put together the Dreaming Terrace Garden before, and all of the detail elements in that one were made of really cheap paper, so I ended up crashing out and not finishing that one. But this one looked a little bit better, so if you guys want to see how this turns out, then just keep watching. I really like the idea of these smaller Rolife kits. I feel like it's a really good introduction to the hobby, and they are only $15.99, so I feel like that's a pretty decent price for a little miniature kit. On the Robotime website, which is the company that owns the Rolife brand, they state that this kit can be put together in 4.5 hours, which is actually a pretty short amount of time. So I just like that you can get these done in one sitting, and I was curious to see if I could make it through this one, unlike the last one that I attempted. The first few pages in the instruction booklet didn't put me in the most excited mood because it was all paper elements that needed cut out, but I decided to do that first and just get it out of the way. And I feel like this takes way too long, and the Book Nook kit that I got from Rolife and put together before, every element that was like this was printed on sticker paper and was pre-cut, so it just made everything look really nice when it was finished, and it was so much easier to put together and much more enjoyable. So I just wish that they would put that same effort into these miniature kits, but I ended up getting it all done, and this is what they all look like. When I started working on the base, I remembered some of the reasons why I wasn't the biggest fan of these Rolife kits, and one of the reasons was because of the glue situation. I wasn't a fan of this glue. It reminded me of a liquid form of hot glue. Hot glue was also another thing that just doesn't really work too well for these kits, but I ended up just making it work. I will say that the base portion of this build is the most difficult and requires the most patience. I ended up adding some hot glue to the bottom of this piece because the instructions say to just place this here and move forward, but if I didn't add the hot glue, I would literally be able to detach the entire miniature from the base. So I just don't understand why they don't include that in the instructions or make that more of a snug fit. But yeah, like I said, the base is the hardest part, but if you can get through that, I think you'll enjoy this. To secure the flooring down, I decided to use Elmer's glue instead of the glue that was included. The glue that was included was just a bit too thick for this step, and I felt like the flooring would lay down nicer with a thinner glue. Assembling the walls really was not too bad at all. The glue that was included worked really well for this step, and you just have to be patient and hold the pieces in place where you want them for longer than you'd want to, but the end result, if you do take your time, is pretty nice. What I really enjoy about the larger Rolife kits is that pieces like this just snap together, and it makes the assembly a lot more enjoyable. I don't mind gluing pieces together every once in a while, but when the entire thing is reliant on how perfect you glue things. I just don't really love that. The main reason is time. I feel like this miniature kit took me just as long to put together as the other one. I spread out the other one over the course of a few days, but this one took me about 5.5 hours, which is kind of crazy to me. I will say Rolife has incredible detail in all of their miniature kits, even if I have to cut out all that detail myself. I mean, look at this little handwritten note. How adorable. I wish this DIY bread tag said something different, maybe like the name of the kit or just bakery. I feel like the translation on some of the details gets a little bit messed up and kind of throws off the kit, if I'm being honest. Adding all of these little elements to the wall really starts to pull this kit together. I didn't show, but I had to assemble that little frame off camera, and same with these little hooks, which were also a pain, but I ended up getting there. I made a hook with some of the little wire that was included and added this little paddle and little pan, and I will say these are absolutely adorable. I also ended up making this myself, this little hook. I lost the one that was included in the kit. It flew across the room, so I ended up having to make my own. When I first saw that they included a silver pen refill, I wasn't sure what it was going to be used for until I got to this step, and it is just to add your own silver detailing to this little oven. This little oven rack was absolutely the hardest thing for me to put together. I was just struggling so bad with this little thing. This jar of cherry jam is my favorite thing about this entire miniature. I think it is absolutely adorable. I'm just using some hot glue to secure these onto this little shelf. I mean, come on, this is absolutely adorable. I glued together this little cabinet off camera, and this wasn't too bad to put together, but as you can see, the glue was the glue that was included, and it just peeks through and seeps out and just doesn't look very good. These little handles and hook are really adorable. I really liked how those turned out, and I'm just adding this little napkin to the hook. This is another one of my favorite elements of this miniature build. This little coffee maker is so adorable. I ended up deciding to make the whisk. This was a pain to make, but I am glad I did it. I feel like it does complete the countertop. I decided to only add the rug to the floor just because I felt like the other items kind of crowded it. But this is the finished miniature, you guys. I don't know if I would recommend these kits just because I feel like they're very tedious and time consuming, but I did get there in the end. But as you guys can see, you can see some of the glue, and I don't know. I'm not too thrilled with how this turned out, but I don't hate it. I'm kind of torn. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I hope you guys are enjoying my videos, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye guys.